Adarsh gets bitten. Adarsh gets bitten by the croc.
Yes, yes.
But he manages to.
Damn.
My
One
AD
member.
sat on top of the croc and took pictures and all.
Were you scared? Like, was the unit scared?
No, no, we had a very controlled set that way. When
Hmm.
we went and shot there, and by the end of it, though, it was completely fine.
What is difficult in the markets today? Like,
It's an extremely difficult market right now. It's extremely challenging, extremely difficult to mount stories, to tell stories. Pre-sale becomes challenging, the music becomes challenging, then finally the marketing becomes challenging, and then finally you put it out in the theater. But before it comes, oh trailer, there'll be some 50,000 people who will troll the trailer and then pull the film down. They don't even give it a chance. There's so many battles you're fighting non-stop to at least get it there. And then once it's there, maybe you don't get the theatrical window, you don't get the right shows you want, and you're pushing for that. I think Dange, when I did Dange,
yeah.
Harsh actually went to colleges and started distributing pamphlets.
What kind of cinephile are you
I grew up watching a lot of good regional cinema. We were talking about how the world is talking about Malayalam films, and
now?
we boss, we know about it from way back. हम लोग पहले से अच्छा कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अभी आप लोग देख रहे हो हम तो पहले से ही बहुत अच्छा फिल्म कर रहे हैं.
How is it going, Mantai? How is the how is the vibe after the film? Much awaited film.
I hope you watched it. You watched it, right?
Of course I did. I was actually vacationing and I was like 13th just passed. So on 17th with my mom. Honestly, it's not my kind of like creature feature and stuff
Right.
like that. I'm more of a slice of life,
Mhm.
easy, and I get scared easily. So while I recommend horror left, right, center, but it was exciting. Like I loved the music. So I was with the trailer, the social media hype. I was kind of logged in. So I just had to give myself that closure and watch it. But I didn't go in with huge expectations. But maze aa gaye. Like I loved the fact that I was always at the edge of my seat. थिएटर में तरह की फिल्म्स को अच्छा मतलब मजा आता है लोग ताली बजा रहे हैं सीटी बजा रहे हैं बट हियर पीपल वर लाइक स्क्रीमिंग सो आई वाज लाइक ये भी बहुत ही सही है शेयर्ड स्कैर्डनेस
It was
yeah.
designed for that only. So, like a community theater community experience. That's what we were going for.
So that happened. I think that really happened. My mom was like this. So I literally took her because she hates those kind of movies where she gets scared. I was like, मुझे बहुत हंसी आने वाली है. So I was like, Mama, there's a Hindi movie because we like watching movies of like ज़्यादा Hindi movies नहीं होती हैं. I don't know what has happened and we'll talk about it. So she was like, okay, as long as it's Hindi, there's a romantic angle because she's a very K-drama person. So she was like, yeah, yeah. So I was like, there's a romantic couple. She knew Crocs will be there, but she was pretty naive about it. So she went in and she was like just screaming. And she was like, I'm not coming to any other movies with you now. At the end, she was like, this is very nice, like the story also was there. So she was like, story was also there. So I was also hooked. I got a little bit scared, but ठीक है, मजे आए.
मजे आ गए.
Did you see the movie in theater with your friends or with anybody?
Yeah, I've been watching it with a lot of people just to try and see how they're reacting. So I've been watching it in different screens and with friends and family and strangers also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strangers also. Like you go
Yeah.
in alone.
Yeah, I go in alone just to kind of gauge audience reactions.
Like, do you get spotted? How was that experience?
Haunted, right? That's all Adarsh and Shanaya and all, not me. Nobody really knows me that much.
But कैसा होता है? Like, how was your reaction? Were you expecting something like that in theater? कि लोग चीख रहे होंगे साथ में?
जब बना रहे थे थोड़ा तो सोचा था, लेकिन इतना नहीं सोचा था जितना रिस्पॉन्स मिला, उतना नहीं सोचा था, which was very satiating to kind of, I was very happy that it is getting that kind of response.
Yeah. Did
Creatively initiating.
you actually shot with Crocs, right?
Yeah, Croc. We shot with one
Croc.
Croc, real
So
Croc.
there were not two, one was there.
In the film there are two, but we shot
Two.
with only one.
Okay. Both
Mhm.
the Crocs are that same Croc.
No. So we shot with a real croc, and based on that real croc, we created the VFX
Other.
aspect of the
Acha.
female, and we created a separate one based on that only, but with the different face texture, size, and everything for the male.
I mean, it was amazing. So, like, was he or she a good actor? Like, How was
Very
it for you?
professional, way more professional than any other actor I worked with.
Let
Gave
them
me
know.
all the
Let the
shots, gave me
actors
all the
know it.
close-ups. No, behave well, very well behaved, and give me all the close-ups and movement and everything.
Were you
Rain,
scared?
without rain, सब अच्छे से किया उसने. लंगड़ी थी थोड़ी. So if you so notice, this one also walked with a limp. That was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Adarsh also mentions ये तो वही है
Mentions
ना.
it, yeah. We put it in the dialogue.
Yeah, I was like ये तो मैंने notice नहीं किया. So they know.
Mhm.
Very interesting. Were you scared? Like was the unit scared? Crocodile आ गया है इस type पे.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, we had a very controlled set that way. We when
Hmm.
we went and shot that, and we were given a clear briefing on what we can do, what we cannot do, what we should do, we should stand. All that was, we had done a full workshop of it, and before we shot, so it was okay. And by the end of it, though, it was completely fine. My
One
AD
member.
sat on top of the croc and took pictures and all.
Oh, cute. Animals behave nicely only when they're given like a good
When they are
environment.
in control. Yeah, yeah. And the
Yeah.
wranglers, the trainers, they knew exactly how much and what to do. So very, very, very good to work with that way. The team was very good.
So let's get into it, like because I'm really interested. You have been directing. We will come to your journey and talk more about it. But here you had actors with who are in different stages of their career. So there's an Adarsh who's almost like proved his skill, has massive acceptance, and there's Shanaya who comes from a very different, like she's just starting. So how was it for you? How's the experience?
I was actually very eagerly looking forward to working with such young voices, and of course I've seen others work, so I had a inkling of what he's capable of and what he could bring to the table. With Shania, it was a completely fresh, new experience because I've not really seen her do much other than just the tests and auditions that she had done. So I was really looking forward to what is it that they would bring to the table, how much I will have to kind of jump in and really intervene to kind of bring them closer to what my vision is. But they both, as much as I was bracing myself for them, they both managed to really surprise me with the level of preparedness they had for the part, and with the way they both internalized, and surprisingly the way they both saw that part, and brought that little bit of edginess into the character. With others, the abrasiveness is not something I was ready for. What he brought and the way he was doing that with his body language and with his dialogues, it really started connecting with me right from day to day three. With Shania, it was a bit of a slow burn. I kind of slowly saw the vulnerability that she was bringing to the part,
Yeah.
which was not there on paper. So that vulnerability really made her more grounded, made it more real for me. And then when I realized that, and I started pushing her more towards that, and it really kind of helped shape up better than what was on paper for sure. So they both really gave me lot more than what I kind of expected.
It was like a, a compliment. Like it didn't feel like I this was the first movie I saw of Shania as well. There was some familiarity in the screen, or maybe like I don't know, like of course actors get the credit, but also the cinematography. The first half of the movie, by the way, I didn't expect that. And I have a question from you, like uh, without any spoilers, what do you think audiences are not expecting? Like for me, it was the first half, like their story, the very gen pop angle to their careers and how they meet, and I was very hooked. Even the
Mhm.
first half could have been a movie in itself. And I was like, what a great
I
storyline.
feel very happy when someone says that even the first half could be like a separate movie by itself. That means that they are invested in that their track, their love story,
Yeah.
and that's something that I guess me and the writer, we really worked hard on to make sure that we stay true to that world and we stay as authentic and honest to that world, and that meet cute feels real. The fact that these two worlds can collide and still be together, that in a real sense of the world. So that's something I really was really banking on, and really hoping that it manages to find that connect. And so it's very heartwarming and heartening to hear when you say that that it worked for you in its entirety. Just that itself works for you. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah, because sometimes like you anyway sign up for through the trailers. There's going to be a creature feature. There's going to be a croc who's going to be scaring. But then, usually in movies like that, the surrounding story is a little, just like
So that's where I beg to differ with some critics also who said that oh, it should have just been about the creature. I don't think so. I said
no.
these rules there. Why should it be only about that? Why cannot be it about this and that? Why are we trying to slot ourselves saying that okay, we should only make these kind of films, we should only make that kind of stories? Why? It can subvert, it can move, it can be about a love story, and it can be about these two people, and then it
Yeah.
subverts and becomes a creature twist. So what? It's not like you're
Yeah.
watching कि हमने ये दिया तो हमको सिर्फ ऐसे ही दिखाओ. There are no rules like that.
क्योंकि उस मूवी में ये शुरू like for example जुरासिक पार्क, people are waiting कि कब start होगा. तो already सबका expectation of how to emote like with the film is predestined, and
Right.
like if you make something like that, those same critics will be like it's the same.
It's the
So
same exactly. It's neither exactly. When you do that, they will like, oh, तो वही है ना, same trope है, same
अरे
तुमने
उसमें
follow.
कुछ अलग ही नहीं था, and then you're like creature feature ही रखो. No, I genuinely believe every shot and every second of the film should be intentional. Like not obviously intentional, but back end pay people should know why this is happening, like why are they together, and it should be tight. So it delivered that way, and it was good. And the second half is another like movie altogether.
The initial draft of the script was very non-linear. It kept going back to the pool a lot more. So that's the one thing that when I took on, I tried to straighten it out, and I said that let's keep it as linear as possible. Let's keep the emotional investment between them in a linear format. So we see that we follow the story of how they meet, how they fall in love, and then there's a small conflict. So we just wanted to go in the straight line for that. So that is the one thing that we changed from the old.
There were some non-linear moments still there in the
So
in the
that is
film,
the trade-off I had to do with the writers. I said, मैं थोड़ा रखता हूँ, इतना नहीं रखूंगा, मैं थोड़ा.
because non-linear is interesting. Like to me, it's like because it just takes away unpredictability.
Yeah.
Nobody can predict, like no audience is predicting a non-linear setup in the next scene. So that's nice. Tell me more about it. So this is a Thai adaptation, a Thai film adaptation. Are adaptations, and this is a story, by the way, that came to you
Yeah. From
from
Himanshu.
Anand and
Anand Rai,
yeah.
he called me for the narration and told me that this is a story written by Himanshu, and Abhishek, who's the screenplay writer, just let him narrate it to you, just hear it out. So that time they didn't tell me it's an adaptation. Once I heard it, obviously I knew it was an adaptation, but I just saw what is it like, when they narrated the thing, I was just completely invested in the story of Avni and Maruti, and I got really fully consumed by that world of these two influencers, and then it becomes a creature feature. So I enjoyed the narration, and that's what made me want to jump on.
And are adaptations any easier, or like how are adaptations any different from an original writing piece? Is there, let's say, more pressure to do justice to, let's say, usually these films are a big hit, they are nice, that's why like you like the story and you want to adapt, or is it any easier? How is it any different, or is it not?
I took that pressure off me right in the beginning when I said that, you know what, I'm going to follow what you have narrated.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch the original. I'm not going to follow that. I'm not going to go there at all. So then there's no pressure of कि वो उसमें ऐसा था, इसमें ऐसा है. So I'm not even thinking of that because I'm following what you have told me. I'm following this script, and I'll work on this script because they have done the groundwork of adapting it. And now I will do my groundwork adapting this screenplay and not follow that at all. So that was a very conscious call we took, saying that we will not watch the original. We will just adapt this screenplay and we'll do the best that we can for this screenplay and come up with set pieces, come up with something new that we feel will be right for this screenplay.
And you didn't even watch the original?
I watched the trailer and I didn't watch the original. I made sure my team doesn't watch it. So my entire team, nobody watched it.
Nice.
They didn't tell me.
At no point there was any FOMO of not seeing the film, and
because
you were like very sure this will
no,
turn
not
out.
at all. No,
Okay.
not at all. Because like I said, this material was anyway given to me. So I was, in fact, I was trying to say that what is it that we can do more in the pool, more in the. So then we came up with this whole idea of the cop, the car getting pulled down. So all that was set pieces that we wrote for it,
Oh,
which
oh,
are which I don't think it's even there in the original.
yeah. Crocs were like clearly a little biased towards the protagonist because they were eating everybody else. Like it's like side snack, man.
And they were coming for the protagonist also. The protagonist was just lucky that they didn't
Lucky. Yeah.
bach gaye.
But yeah. Yeah.
Like, Adarsh gets bitten. Adarsh gets bitten by the croc,
Yes. Yes.
but he manages to.
Damn. You know, when Shania was in the tunnel, it was very interesting. Like, loved the cinematography because, like, in the tunnel, it felt like a different world altogether. It reminded me of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets tunnels a bit. It was very, very interesting. So, the cinematography alone. By the way, like songs, you have this stylistic way of approaching a film. At least I have noticed. I don't know if it's conscious, and we'll get to that. But sometimes in your films, like also in Chetan, there's a almost like a contrast of music and what's happening in the scene. Uh, like it would be a crime scene, and there's a romantic angle or a romantic song, like the ringtone playing in this film. Is that something that you like that comes organically from your personality, or is that something you consciously do, something that you enjoyed watching? Where does that style come from?
So I think it's in sync with what I was trying to say earlier about how we don't need to conform to any kind of presets of
Hmm.
storytelling. Like how we spoke about how the first half is this love story and then it subverts and becomes this creature feature. I think my music choice also comes from the same place, wherein you subvert it. You don't do the expected. You play on the bit of a unexpected territory when it's in complete contrast to what you're trying to show, but yet it feels like it's a good fit. So but even for that, casting that song becomes important. It's not like every other love song will fit, but somewhere you feel when even though there is a solid contrast in it, there is some kind of a fluidity to it also, so which
Hmm.
worked in Shaitan also when we played Khoya
Visually,
Khoya Chaan and Hawa
correct.
Hawa, and it worked here also. I feel when you had Tum Hi Hamari Manzil, every time the croc came to bite, we had Tum Hi Hamari Manzil playing out. So we called it the croc song.
Nice. The Tumi Hamari Manzil original is
Yeah.
like a different cute song altogether. And here in your world, it was a Croc song.
Croc song,
Very
yeah.
interesting. So, do you also feel like you have this style which somehow gets there in some, like, you don't stick to a genre, by the way, but there's this stylistic element. Do you think as a filmmaker this helps you? Like, I know like you do most of your own original stories, but work also comes your way. Do you think it traps you or it helps you having this stylistic
Inherently, you have a
identity?
voice as a filmmaker. You have a
Yeah.
certain grammar or approach. And what happens here is that people are ready to tag you and stereotype you, saying, "Okay, तुम यही करो, तुम ऐसे ही फिल्म्स बनाते हो, तुम्हारे फिल्म में ऐसे ही होता है." तो they are constantly trying to tag you with that. And if that is your voice, that is your signature, then either you play it up and play up your strengths and do justice to the storytelling. I feel
Yeah.
that is more important. That the story benefits from whatever you're trying to do, be it the style, be it the way you're saying it. The story should benefit and it should effectively communicate. I think that should be a main focus. अगर उसमें you are getting tagged and बार बार तुमको बोला जा रहा है तुम स्टाइल ही है, अभी ठीक है, कोई बात
Embrace it.
नहीं. I you embrace it, yeah. Now I learn to accept it कि ठीक है, चलो कोई बात नहीं.
So now you don't do anything conscious ke like two movies should be different. It's all about that movie's plot and story. And you
It's
don't
always
like,
been like that. It's always been like that. That I
yeah,
feel that what is it that I can do to tell the story effectively, tell this shot effectively, tell this scene effectively. Which music should I put? Which shot should I take? How should the lighting be? How big the tunnel should be for that scene to work? You know what I'm saying? It creeps into every aspect of storytelling.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it is really what will be the most effective way of doing it.
yeah.
And what you feel like you're trying to move away from the ordinary. ये मैंने देखा है, ये मैंने किया है, or I've seen it somewhere. Let's not go there. Let's try and say it in an original way. So those are the things that you keep.
So So
नहीं है।
वो भी होता है कभी कभी कि मतलब ये देखा हुआ है, कुछ नया करते हैं, but at the
Of
same
course.
time, so it's like it's also like set पे भी like you would get people saying कि ये तो यहाँ हुआ था and that
हाँ. In fact, that's why it's very important to surround yourself with people who are able to come and honestly tell you that it's not working, or this is very similar to that. You need to have a team which is, and you need to empower the team to kind of constantly keep you in check.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, like this is coming on Netflix in April.
Yeah.
Uh, जैसे कि मैंने कभी काफी लोगों को साथ में स्क्रीम करते हुए इतना नहीं देखा because like action is getting released and some kind of like theater wants audience and experimentation people are saying OTT, but like this film iska pace and what you're trying to get out of, like it is very attention grabbing. Every scene, be it the first half, honestly, like that is also like fast paced and interesting, and those likes and songs, everything is very apt for OTT as well. What do you think about theater versus OTT? Like, do you think one platform is getting more experimentation and the other is not so much? Because when your films started like coming in, when you started at the time of Shaitan, there was a lot happening. Like there was from a lunchbox to DVD to Ship of Theseus to like all of these were, let's say, the early 2000 cinema. Now, of course, there is a shift. What do you think about that?
It is a rapidly evolving scenario for
Hmm.
sure, and the theatrical experience is on the wane. It's not. It's not really. We are not really doing that well theatrically, and it's a known fact. So I think the audiences are very very clear that they are not going to spend their money to go watch anything and everything in the theater. They're very clear
Yeah.
about it. So it becomes important to kind of give them the theatrical experience.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every film needs to be spectacle, but it needs to be worthy enough now to be in the theater, I feel. Otherwise,
Hmm.
like you said, they'll all wait for just to land on OTT and they can watch it in the comfort of their homes or on their phones or tablets or whatever it is. So the theatrical experience, though that's sad, I feel more and more films should be viewed in the theater, should be viewed in the big screen, but that is definitely on the wane, and that's the way it's evolving. That's the way it's changing now, and I guess we need to adapt with the times and see what is it we need to do to bring the audiences back to the theater and what kind of films we need to make. It is that part of that learning curve right now that's happening. The
Yeah.
time that you mentioned, early 2000s, that was a very very different time, and all the films that you mentioned, we all went and watched all those films in the theater. But I don't know
Yeah.
whether we'll watch the same films in the theater today.
Yeah. I think that's also like people have been differently conditioned now. Like kids, the like Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, like a lunchbox in theater today. I don't know who will go and watch, but then because all films only released in theaters for a long time, if you had to watch the film, you had to be in the theater. And also, as a filmmaker, do you also think that hey, this is a little more experimentational script? Let me do it for OTT, or this is a cinematic. Let me. Do you also segregate
Not at
platform
all.
wise?
Not at all. My first and foremost thing will be like definitely to aim for the theaters only, always.
Yeah,
Irrespective of whatever story I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Always try and find ways to see if I can go bigger and put it up in the theater for sure. And I'll continue to do that. Whatever story I might try and attempt. So, but then of course the trade pins you down and the trade will tell you नहीं ये यहीं पे होगा नहीं ये वैसे होगा. So then you have to fight those battles and see how to mitigate that, how to convince them to still push for the theatrical, to still push. And of course, like Tu Yaa Main, when it came to me only, they were clear that ये theater की film है. So it was upfront, they were clear about it, and I was like, okay, so then I'll go all out for it. So that way, I guess it is important to then align yourself with the right people who will allow you to tell your stories in the right platform that is available to you. But sometimes you make it for the OTT also. There are films that are made for that and you get commissioned for that. And if the story is that interesting and you want to latch onto it, then you do it. As
yeah,
long as you to tell stories, to be very honest. In the markets that are there today, I'm very grateful that I'm still getting some chances to tell stories.
What is difficult in the markets today? Like,
It's an extremely difficult market right now. It's extremely challenging, extremely difficult to mount stories, to tell stories. It is not easy. It is not easy. You feel like there are so many OTTs and so many avenues available. But having said all of that, it is still extremely challenging to mount a film.
yeah, and get people's attention to. And I think social media has worsened our brains,
It's
anyways.
every step. एक तो mount the film to get a greenlit. Then once it's greenlit to get into production, चलो production का मैं बोल रहा हूँ चलो all challenges that are there in production to make the film in a certain tight budget that you're making. Then after you made the film, then comes this whole thing of pre-sale. How do you sell the film to an OTT before it comes to theatrical and everything? The pre-sale becomes challenging, the music becomes challenging, then finally the marketing becomes challenging, and then finally you put it out in the theater. But before it comes, or trailer, there'll be some 50,000 people who will troll the trailer and then pull the film down. They don't even give it a chance. There's so many battles you're fighting non-stop to at least get it there. And then once it's there, maybe you don't get the theatrical window, you don't get the right shows you want, and you're pushing for that. So it's non-stop. It's
Insane.
relentless.
So I was like, before I did any of this, I was like the audience. I was audience. Like I've never been into the other side of filmmaking, and then I started talking to people. Like I had Aranya on the podcast, who made a very good film, Humans in the Loop. I don't know if you've seen it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
he also
Of course.
tried getting into Oscar. And I was just talking to him, like, what's your day like? And he was like, I'm marketing, I'm like distributing pamphlets. And I'm like, that's not even a filmmaker skill. I mean, you're doing, what are you doing? Like, and he's like, yeah, Manisha, that's what you do. And like, once making a film and taking those green light, being on set, that's a different job altogether. Once you're done with that, then you have to do all of this as well. So it's
My
insane.
last film, I think, Dange, when I did Dange,
Yeah,
Harsh actually went to colleges and started distributing pamphlets. Harsh
yeah,
went to separate college. Harsh actually said, "Sir, मैं जा रहा हूँ, मैं उतार रहा हूँ, मैं लोग को बोलने वाला पिक्चर के बारे में कि मार्केटिंग इन लोग इतना नहीं कर रहे हैं, मुझे करना है." And so he did.
yeah,
He actually did that. And I guess the few people that came maybe because of that.
yeah. It's insane. Matlab, like when I was just the audience, I was like, now like YouTube has come in, some democratization is going to happen. People will have more choice, and then people will get anybody can become a filmmaker. Like if you really want to, like you can take your phone and you can put something out there. But what that has done is like more platforms, distribution is a crazy
Hmm.
game. Like distribution has become,
Get it to the final user, to get it to the final audience is a huge, huge challenge. Yeah.
yeah, it's insane. And mad respect. By the way, like the marketing of Tu Yaa Main is insane. I mean, you got Rajiv Masan, Komal Nahata talking to the Crocs. How did that happen?
All that is the marketing, in-house marketing team with Color Yellow. I think Anand sir, if I'm not mistaken, Anand sir came up with the idea for that, and then the marketing team with Harini and all, Harini and Radha, they executed that, and they did such a superb job. I think all that was damn good fun of getting
Yeah.
these big guys to come in and have a chat with the Croc. That was good fun.
What kind of cinephile are you? Because I have had chats with you on a lot of like indie films, smaller stories, important stories as well. And the kind of films that you make is for everybody, for a shared experience, for theaters. What did you grow up watching?
So I come from a family of film buffs. So they were all like my sister, my mom and dad. They were all hardcore film buffs. So they used to watch a lot of films. So because of that, I used to watch a lot of films, and we used to watch films from all over the place. I grew up watching a lot of good regional cinema, and that really, I guess, shaped my taste in cinema. And it was like the golden time when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, when some phenomenal work happened, phenomenal filmmakers, and some phenomenal work happened in regional cinema. And so I watch very less of world cinema. World cinema happened much later. So my
Yeah.
growing up years was all regional cinema.
So
And
Marathi, Malayalam, all of those kind of films?
way more Malayalam, Tamil, Marathi, of course, but Malayalam and Tamil is what I watched a lot of, and some terrific work that happened in the 80s and 90s is what right from Adur Gopalakrishnan, Padmarajan, Mani Ratnam, Bharti Raja, so Bhagyaraj. So these are the filmmakers, Ivy Shashi. These are the filmmakers, and they ranged from everything, from really a hardcore art house to
Yeah.
hardcore masala commercial also.
Masala. Yeah.
So it was a
Within a few
great
years.
mix of
Yeah.
everything. I used to watch some terrific films. So that's what I grew up on.
Tell us some movies, like name some of these.
I guess Mani sir's entire filmography, the what I think we used to just rewatch all the time. And this is the pre-Roja days. I'm not talking about Roja. Roja now
Yeah, yeah,
happened. Roja, Bombay, all that happened later. But pre-Roja days, which is of Maunaragam, Nayagan,
yeah. Nayakam.
Chitram, Anjali. So these are the Dalapati. These are the movies, I guess, initially that I watched. And of course, with Padmarajan, his entire filmography, right from Parannu Parannu Parannu, that is Innale, Thuvanitumbigal, Aparan. So some terrific films, Nambartipu, and Vidayan, and Bharati Raja, Mundani Mudichu, some films. Again, very rooted rural films that he used to make, and so it was a great insight into. So living in Bombay, you couldn't even know,
Know what's happening there.
these kind of societies and these kind of small village stories. So, and these films gave us that, gave us a
Yeah.
kind of a clear insight on
Yeah.
how worlds were like. So they were the films that really shaped me. And Ivy Shashi. So what Ivy Shashi was, I don't know if you know about Ivy Shashi. Ivy Shashi was this really flamboyant filmmaker
Filmmaker.
in from Kerala. When I say flamboyant, because he did these hardcore political films, very
Okay.
political films, but in the most commercial way as possible. So his
Wow.
subjects were very political, but all the and he had this thing of ensemble. So every film had some 8 stars, not like two, three, like eight, nine big actors were all part of. So every film will have like eight, nine big actors in it, and they were all like hardcore political films, uh,
Wow.
but with very heavy duty commercial swag in it. So it had like some crazy action set pieces, but it was still talking about like a political party and communism. So it was very bizarre mix of this commercial and artistic voices. So he did some very crazy films. So I used to I think his films were really radical for that time. So I watched a lot of his films, and I guess that time when you're growing up, you are looking for this. I mean, as rooted in political stories are, I was still looking out for those action set pieces, which were very cool for that time, what he was trying to do. So I guess, and then Mani sir took it few notches higher with what he was doing, because he was also doing some very political film, but with such a commercial hand. So
Masala take on it.
yeah, so I guess that really shaped me as a my choices got shaped by them.
I'm so glad for the recording to be able to take all of these notes because I love Malayalam cinema and I'm a very recent entry to Malayalam cinema. So, like Fahad Fazil, I recently entered the world and I'm exploring and
In
I'm
fact,
like,
I just
yeah,
spoke to people here. I was doing an interview here with a Malayali media house, and we were talking about how the world is talking about Malayalam films as well. And we
now,
were like, boss, we know about it from way back. हम लोग पहले से ही अच्छा कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अभी आप लोग देख रहे हो हम तो पहले से ही बहुत अच्छा फिल्म कर रहे हैं. Or and we were enjoying that. We were all celebrating it ourselves. But now suddenly you guys are like looking at us and saying, "Oh, क्या है मस्त है." अभी तुम बना रहे हो, मतलब अभी नहीं, हम पहले से ही बना रहे हैं.
that is so true. मतलब
In
वहाँ
fact,
पे
very weirdly, we were just talking about same Ivy Shashi, that filmmaker. I was talking about this one particular film of his called Varta. Varta is the news. It was
the
about
news.
a rebel newspaper who was taking on these politicians, exposing them. And it was about this one rebel outfit, and it had Mammootty. Mammootty was and it had Mohanlal. Mammootty, Mohanlal, Rahman,
Both.
all there. So
Yeah.
the crazy film that time, and there was this sequence. So I used to love watching the climax of that film.
Okay.
I don't know why, but the last 10 minutes of the film, I used to keep rewatching, keep rewatching every time. Like my every lunch that I used to sit and eat, I used to play the climax, and I think I watched it for like years. I'm not talking about like one. I was just obsessed with that climax for some strange reason. I don't know why. Spoiler alert, but it had this crazy monologue in the end that Mammootty is
Okay.
giving. This crazy monologue that he's giving, and in the middle where his love interest and friend is trying to dissuade him from exposing this big guys and saying that don't take this
Right.
box, come back, you'll get killed, and he's like, no, I need to do this, and he goes into this heavy duty monologue about how we need to make this change in the society, if somebody needs to make the voice. And so as he gives that monologue, suddenly he gets shot, and in as he gets shot, Mohanlal comes in to try and save him. Mohanlal gets shot. So everybody gets shot, and you don't know who's shooting them. They're getting shot, and he's still struggling. He's still trying to take the box that he's had. Box has a lot of documents. He's trying to take the box and enter the van, and he's still trying to get away from that. He's still in the middle of getting shot. He's still trying to push the box in, and as he pushes the box in into the van explodes. There's an explosion of the van, and they all get thrown off. And it's such a cinematic thing, yeah. And then the third hero jumps into the fire of that exploded van and pulls the
Okay.
box out. That's played by Raman. So I used to just binge on that. That was like my favorite sequence, like the climax of seeing them get shot, and the entire thing suddenly goes into high speed. Okay, everything is in high speed. So I used to love that sequence.
Oh,
So
man.
now, as I was talking to these guys about it, while I was just explaining, I realized the explosion in Tu Yaa Main is that, because it's in the middle of this chaos of the croc
And
and then the van just
that
explodes.
car could have saved them, and then that
It
only.
explodes. So I guess somewhere it was just ingrained in my head because I've watched this so many times. So it is, I guess, my homage or my nod to
Oh.
Varta.
I mean, also that's the worst spoiler. I was like, I so want to watch this movie. So now I
Yeah,
don't know, I'm dying.
now I've just spoiled it for you, but it's still a
I
terrific
will
film.
still watch
It's a
it because you
terrific
used to watch it daily. It was spoiled to you every day.
film. Having said that, now, yes, of course, there's so much focus on the celebrating, but that's also because some really interesting voices. There are such interesting films that are being made now, and such phenomenal talent that's just bursting at the seams, kind of thing. Every film has such great ensemble cast, technicians, story writers. There's some really good synergy happening right now, and a lot of good films are being made here for sure.
Yeah, so I have a series for my page, which is called Premiere Pick. So every first I post what I'm interested in watching in the theaters. And so I do some research. So I see, so when I don't know about the director, I go look at their filmography, just try to understand what kind of films they've made previously, just to check how this is going to be. And with Malayalam, and I always put Malayalam movies because that's literally what I also put a filter of language and go and watch some of the movies because and what I've noticed is so many debut directors, like
Yeah,
every month, 4 or 5
new
debut
directors are coming.
directors,
Yeah.
new directors.
Which other industry is doing that? You tell me. Which other industry is doing that?
Nobody.
Yeah.
And I don't know, मुझे ये बताओ, what is the difference? Because there is clearly some ecosystem that is letting everybody experiment and appreciating that. I don't know if it's the audience, because now I know if Malayalam watchers have given this movie 8, and even if there are 50 people, 50 rating, it's crazy. It's
Crazy.
like, because I trust the audience so much. They would come and they would like rate passionately, and even if it's 50 reviews, watch it. But
Watch
क्या
it.
difference है? Like, what is happening that we are unable to nail? Um,
Like you said, the ecosystem, it's the ecosystem of people able to figure out and manage to do something together in very limited, the budget's not great, right?
Budgets or not?
They're
Yeah.
doing it in very limited budgets. So they're able to de-risk themselves and able to do it in a certain budget because they know that itna karke bhi they will be able to recover. So that allows, I guess, people to take some chances. Still, a lot of people films maybe they do not recover, but it still doesn't stop them from taking those risks. So there are experimental films, there are smaller films, bigger films, both being made, and finding support within the industry, finding support within the industry, the talent supporting it, the producer supporting. There are people, if they know that the film is good, they'll go all out and support it. They'll make sure they talk about it. They'll make sure they push it. So that support is, it's a great. Like yesterday, I think I'm in Cochin right now. Yesterday, I saw there was a press meet for a film that was happening, a newly releasing film,
Yeah.
uh, with all fairly newcomers.
Yeah.
New- and I think it's again debut director.
I've did it.
But I saw a big star come for the
Yeah.
press meet to support the film, and that's awesome. And maybe पता नहीं किसके किसी connection से आया हो, but the fact that he's taking out the time to come support a new film by a new filmmaker, that gives me a lot of faith. That gives me faith that there is enough in the ecosystem to kind of support good films and support filmmakers and new filmmakers in the right way. So that's a good thing.
Do you want to like explore that industry? Are you thinking of making Malayalam
Yeah,
movies?
I made one film. I
Yeah,
made
you
one,
did.
but since then I have not made anything. So I've been really trying to make one film here. I came very close to it almost 2 years back, and that didn't materialize. So I'm still hoping I get to make that film, and I am itching to
Yeah.
make.
Like I meet people who are like Iranian cinema, which is amazing. And I'm like, before going to foreign films, have you seen enough Malayalam films? Because we are doing some crazy. And regional cinema is futuristic, almost like from a storytelling point of view, not just Malayalam, Marathi films. There's Chaitanya Tamane saying some stories, and I mean, amazing stuff is happening. And I am a Delhiite sitting here still watching Malayalam films. My only question is like, you have me here. I am the first. I should be the first Bollywood consumer of Hindi films. So like, there's
And yet
some,
you're watching all this. That's good.
yeah, still watching like because I also feel the economics decide. I don't know. I don't feel. I've just read some people saying that and filmmakers saying that they decide ये picture यहाँ नहीं चलेगी वहाँ चलेगी. So there's almost a lot of categorization happening with the economics of the whole thing. So that's kind of sad, but loving what's happening there. And from the most massy stories to something, I'm definitely going to be pronouncing this film wrong. It's Toni Matalam Drikshasayam, where there is a chain that Fahad Fazil
Tundimudlam Driksashams. I
Driksha.
love that film. I love that film.
I was like,
Delicious.
who thought of this story, man? And how did you make me watch it? Like, what just happened in this movie?
I think he made these three films, that director. He made Maheshindra Pratikaran, Tondimudal
Man,
Driksasham, Joji.
Josie.
But I mean, all three are terrific. But Tondimudal is my favorite.
I watched Joji before that, Kumlangi Nights I watched, and I was like hooked. And then I watched this film where the chain, I was like, oh my God, I'm not watching anything
Try
like that.
explaining the plot to someone. Try explaining the premise to someone. They'll be like, huh? What?
Premise and like start, middle, end. What is start, middle, and end in this movie anyway? Like you're just hooked, irrespective.
Yeah.
And you're like, is it leading up to some X-ray where there's no chain? The chain is there. So, I like love it. But yeah, I mean, so let's get into a segment. We have a letterbox segment. We are not
Oh,
letterboxed yet, but it's called Jump Cut 2. So I'll ask you some questions and it will be recommendations, but you have to be quick about it, is all. One filmmaker, not don't mention your name, but one filmmaker you will name who's doing terrific work and is underrated, kind of.
both Rajbi Shetty and Hemant Rao are not spoken about enough. They both
Yeah.
are phenomenal filmmakers, and I don't think uh, I mean, I'm sure in the Kannada industry, of course, they are massive, but I think in the national space, their films need to be watched and studied, I feel, because they're phenomenal filmmakers.
One performance that you saw, acting performance, that changed how you see anything after that.
Kamal Sir's films had that. You watched Kamal Sir's performances, they used to haunt you and not leave you. Something like Mondra Pere, which is Sadma, and Nayak and Guna, and all and those are performances that just didn't let you go. Same with Smita Patil, with Om Puri, Sanjeev Kumar. I mean, these are actors I guess I watch their films to see how effortless they are in the way they
Yeah.
They do. It's because earlier I used to think it's maybe because the nostalgia, maybe because I've watched them growing up. But now I rewatch, and I watch how effortlessly they slip into that character, how they make you believe that
Yeah.
that's who they are, and how they sell that world to you so effortlessly. And it's their craft. It's how beautifully they are managed to internalize that character. So I guess all these actors and performances really stay with you and haunt you. So and even now there are so many actors that you watch. Like I guess Jaideep. Recently, I remember watching him in Patalok season 2, where there's an entire episode where he's just grieving,
Yeah.
saying much, and you feel the grief. You feel every aspect of that grief with him, just not even saying a word. And I
Yeah.
think that's the power of a good performance. So I love when that happens. I love when actors just wow you with by doing nothing.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Also, like I look at Patalok and I think of Aradhisatte, that
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
like same energy, not same energy, but it puts
yeah.
you in that world where you're upset and depressed almost.
If you like Arda Satyam, I don't know if you've seen Drokal. You've seen Drokal?
Bhokal, no, I've not.
So please watch Drokal.
Yeah, okay.
Drokal, same director. Govind Nalani made Drokal
Go ahead.
with Om Puri and Nasuddin Shah. And I had an opportunity to interview him on the film.
Wow.
And because in my heart, I knew, or rather, I felt, it was the fan in me that felt that Drokal is like a spirited sequel to Arth Satya. And
Okay.
he confirmed it. He said that I wrote it like a sequel.
Wow.
I was like, yes,
Amazing.
I knew it. But it's a terrific film. Watch
Yeah.
out, watch out. I mean, of course, Umpuri, Anupam Kher are phenomenal in it. But watch out for Meeta Vashisht and Anu Kapoor in the film.
Okay. No, this is
Unfucking believable in the film. By the way, Kamal sir remade Drokal in Tamil.
okay.
Uh,
Wow.
Kamal sir remade Roka, which PC Sriram directed. Kamal sir,
Nice.
yeah,
I will watch
but
both of these.
watch the Roka first. Don't watch.
Absolutely. Because after Ardh Satte, I was like, I want to watch all of these movies, like
Yeah,
which was made in that era, talking about such political things with great treatment and nuance. And Smita Patil, like mad fan. She doesn't even need to say anything. She just
Mhm.
can be in a frame, and you're not looking at anybody else. I
See,
mean,
Ardsat is it's not a relationship film, right? It's a cop
not
film, right?
yeah,
But I think it's one of the best relationship films. You watch
best.
it, look at the relationship dynamic between them. It's so beautifully done.
So nuanced. It's like
So
PK
nuanced.
came way later. I mean, we nailed the nuance of, you meet the guy and you're like green flags. That's so,
Yeah.
it is so ahead of its time, because you meet the guy, you green flags, and then you see the small decision making that he does, and like massive red flags. Like,
Yeah,
now
massive. Yeah,
what to do?
exactly. She realizes, right?
And with her friend, that conversation where she can't put
Yeah.
it into words, and she says, I don't know how to put it into words, but like, ये तो red flags है और ये सबके साथ हो रहा है. So like goosebumps.
तो
I
कब
was
से हो
really
रहा है?
clearly humans have not evolved too much after that. But I recently rewatched the film, and my criteria is, if there's a beautiful film and you rewatch the film, it is way better the
Yeah,
second time and third time. It just keeps getting better.
getting
So
better.
that happened, and I'm like you would see Smita Patil's role literally, and if you it's very less dialogues but high impact, and you
Yeah,
see it from her POV. And Kamal Hassan, though, like he's a genre himself. Every
sense.
decade he would. And you're saying it's effortless, but let's say Chachi 420 took him like that makeup. But when you put it on Kamal Hassan, only is when you will see Chachi, because he adds so much more with his performance to the surrounding. It's
So I had a
unbelievable.
chance to work with him, right? I worked with him just now on Thug Life when he was
I
working
like
with himself. So I kept trying to, whenever the break time, when I was sitting and waiting, I used to keep going and try and talk to him about trivia about his films. And that was the best thing because he used to love just chatting about his old films and everything. And I got some amazing trivia on all the like difficult films and roles stuff he did. There was a film called Marudanayagam that he was doing, which was this
Mardanaga.
magnum
Yes.
opus that he was doing. And it's still there on YouTube with the trailer for it. And there's a sequence in that, a shot in that where he's riding a bull. He's almost bare naked and he's sitting on top of a bull and he's riding a bull. And that shot just looks unbelievable. It looks VFX. In
Okay.
fact, weirdly now, I think Rajamouli sir did that shot, right, with Mahesh
Okay.
Babu riding this
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
which looks like a VFX shot, right? But you watch the original, you watch Kamal sir riding a real bull in that shot. So I asked him, so how did that happen? So he said that it took about 8 months. He said, and I said, 8 months? Yes. It took me 8 months to familiarize myself with the bull. So I had to be the person that the bull trusted. So every day for 8 months, he was the guy who used to go to feed the bull. So he
Oh
used to go
my
feed the
God.
bull, and he had to get used to my weight. So they used to hang him with a rope and just slowly put him on top of the bull so the bull can get used to his weight. So they did that for 1 or 2 months till they could just make him sit on it and remove the rope. So when you hear stuff like, look at the prep, and that's
Yeah.
shot in the film, one shot that he did that much work. And he speaks about it so beautifully in the way he went about prepping for it so that the bull gets used to it, and the bull would, not earlier he used to just come to get at me, but then he realized that I am the person giving him the food, so he got used to it. So that was just I just enjoyed that. It was like a lesson, in filmmaking.
Yeah.
How it's like a master telling you how he executed something so phenomenal. So yeah, so these are things that you live for. I feel like, more than, films doing well and you find the validation. I think these are the moments that are worth it. That you get access to legends like this who come and tell you how they did what they did.
Wow, man, this is insane. The prep and the commitment. What are you watching recently?
Task, which is outstanding.
Task.
Yeah, Task,
Where is
which
it? Where can we watch it?
on Hotstar. It's on Hotstar.
Hotstar. And anything you're reading right now?
I'm always reading like 3 books and not finishing any of them.
Any of
It's
them?
like so.
Tell me the 3 books that you're not going to finish.
I think it's an unreleased book that someone has given to me to try and adapt into a film. So I guess I
How do
can't.
you tell your fans you have
I can't.
unreleased
It's
book?
like kind of a manuscript kind of thing. So that is what I'm
Oh,
trying
wow.
to. Very interesting. Very interesting. Kind of like a biopic of his time there.
Hmm.
So that's quite interesting. And I'm reading this thing called Nothing But the Rain. I think
Nothing
I
but the rain.
really actually I've read it before. I'm just rereading because I just loved it so much. So I'm just rereading that. It's called a book called Nothing But the Rain. I'm forgetting the name of the author, but it's phenomenal. So these are the 2 things I'm reading right now. I hope I'll finish it in this among the. I hope I finish it.
You are a movie watcher or like a show binger? Like, who are you as a personality?
मूवी वॉचर
Movie
शो
watcher.
जब
Movie.
मैं ऐसा बैठ के एक शो एक दिन में खत्म नहीं करता हूँ शो आई लाइक टू वॉच if I'm
And
watching a show I'll
long.
want to watch like one episode a day even if it's
Same.
all of that I'll still watch one episode a day I'll not watch like everything together because I
Yeah.
want to process what I watched I want to I guess I watch it like a movie so I watch it
Yeah. What's next? What are you making next? Anything
um
exciting that's up next?
couple of things in the pipeline. Some scripts that are already written and I had been pitching that some time back. So I'm trying to revive that and pitch that, and some new things I'm working on. So you never know which one will start moving. So you are kind of constantly trying to juggle a couple of things and see कौन सा move होगा किसके लिए कौन सा actor ready हो जाएगा किसके लिए suddenly one producer will be ready. So you're keeping things ready. So that's what I'm doing.
But is there anything that's like close to releasing जिसके बारे में you can talk? कुछ ऐसा है या सबको
Nothing,
अभी?
nothing close to releasing right now.
Okay.
In fact, I'll be starting
Yeah, of
something
course.
soon. So, in fact, I have kept a cutoff of May, June, to start something. If I don't crack anything by like if I don't lock anything by May, then I think June Money Sir is starting is next. So I'll be going for that to assist him on that.
Oh,
So that's
love
the plan.
it. Love it. By the way, Bijoy, like to me, you feel like a workaholic. Like you're always online. You're
Yeah.
like you're reading 3 things, watching something, and then there's a movie going on, and then like what do you believe in work-life balance?
I think that's like a abuse in my work-life balance. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just like to
Life
like,
is work and work is life, and that's
that's
what I'm
nice.
happy.
Perfect.
And I
Love
think
it.
people around me have kind of accepted that, and they're okay about it. Like
They
right now, I'm
ought to
doing this
be.
interview, but I have an assistant associate who is sitting and waiting. As soon as this gets over, I have to jump on it and start working.
Go.
Oh, hey,
Hi. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, like you reply in 1 second. So I'm like, I am sometimes like very, I do that to people. And when it happened to me, I'm like, ये तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही hectic sound कर रहा है. But thank you so much for the time. I don't want to like hold you from your other commitments and
No, but
uh,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
thank you so much.
And
L-
really
l-
excited to collaborate with you on something which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, very excited about that. Would love to chat more about that when I can, because otherwise
In due
that
time.
build up is a little can be frustrating, but in due time for sure.
Yeah.
But let's chat more. Thank you so much, Bejoy, for the
Thank you.
time.
Thank you so much. Ciao. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.